everyone, this is Amy. Thanks so much for stopping by my channel. Welcome, welcome. Today I'm going to show you how I paint a sunflower design arrangement on this glass bottle. I have already cleaned it off, and this is a bottle that I use frequently in my videos, so I paint on it, clean it off, paint on it, clean it off, just keep doing videos on it and amongst some other glassware. Today I'm going to be using a number 12 flat brush and a number 10 and a number 8 flat brush. All these are plod one-stroke brushes, along with a number 1 liner and the 1/4 Scruffy Brush and a dotting stylus. Any stylus will do. The paint I'm using is berry wine, and so this one has quite a bit. Bright pink, which is very bright pink, magenta, lime green, Thicket. I'm not using that one. Warm white, yellow ochre, burnt umber, burnt sienna, moon yellow, oops, sorry, and Bumblebee. It's a nice bright yellow. Alright, let's go ahead and get started. I am going to start by doing the sunflowers first. My space is limited on this bottle, so again, when I do my designs on paper, I have to kind of make them a little bit smaller, just for the reason that I'm painting on a smaller surface when I'm actually doing my design on the glass. Okay, so when I'm putting in the center, I like to paint my centers first, and then I will go back over my centers once I put my petals in. Just so you know, I like to do that just to kind of make them look a little nicer once I get done painting the flower itself. Kind of gives it more of a finished look. Alright, so I have my centers, and then I am going to put in my petals. Now, the petals you can see here, I am going to be using the bigger, which is the number 12 flat brush. I am just sticking them into the moon yellow, the bumblebee, and the yellow ochre. I can do some blending strokes. Not really too concerned about those. But I'm going to go ahead and start, and I'm going to use the same brush even if it's, smaller centers and stuff than what I did on my paper, but I'm going to go ahead and just use the same brushes. And then I'm going to go around here, pull it, and you can turn your brush different directions, kind of give it some movement. That kind of went off the side, which is fine. I'm just doing the front of this bottle just because of doing the video. I'm not going to paint all the way around the bottle, but if I were going to use this bottle for my own, or if I was selling it, I would actually paint around the whole thing. So I guess the reason I'm saying that is if you're using this in your home as a piece of home decor, feel free to go around the whole thing, unless you're just going to be sitting out on a shelf where one side will just be showing, and that's fine. And you can pull your brush into the center a little bit to pull out some of the brown, or if you want to actually include some brown in your design in the actual petals, that's fine too. Now on my design I did go through and put in some smaller, like another row of petals. And on this you can just keep them, you have to be careful though because I'm going over a painted spot, so I have to be careful that I'm not lifting the paint, because that will happen, especially on this bottle for some reason. I probably need to find some other glass to paint on, because this is really does that a lot in this bottle. And I can hit it with some heat to try to help with that, but I'm not sure. I'm just going to touch this real lightly here, because I don't want it to have that kind of a spot in it. If you feel like too, because these are kind of thin, that you really need to go over it another time, you can do so, but for the purpose of the video I'm not going to be doing that. I'm just putting in the second layer as we speak, and try not to be too pushed down too hard, because you do have to worry about lifting up the paint below. And some bottles are probably worse than others, but definitely make sure when you're cleaning your bottles before you paint them, use soap and water, and then go over them with denatured alcohol or just rubbing alcohol. And that way, that should help make sure it's clean and give you better paint adherence. And if you want to just do sunflowers with one row, you can do that too. You don't have to put in the 2 rows, because I used to do sunflowers all the time with just 1 row. Maybe more petals, make them smaller. However you want to do them. This is just another design idea. Okay, so let's look here, see if I need to, I just want to be careful because I truly do not want to pull up the paint. The only thing that's worrying me. Like I said, and you can do your petals, as I said, in different directions, just to kind of give it some movement. However you want to do it is awesome. Alright, so now it's time. I am going to go back over the centers. Using my Scruffy again, I am going to come out here a little bit further on this one that's a partial. Now you can make it rounder if you want, it's up to you. And I just stuck with doing just the burnt sienna on the top and the burnt umber on the bottom, because of this just being a kind of a side view. On these I am going to make the center bigger because they are sunflowers, and sunflowers typically have bigger centers. I'm just kind of pouncing around. If you want to make the center more distinct, you can put a little bit more of the burnt sienna around it. And I'm going to go back over this one too. If I were just to leave them alone and not do any kind of painting over it, I think that would look funny. I really think it's necessary to come back in and paint over it. The problem I've got is just putting in the dark again, getting it to look right. Alright, and like I said, bigger I think it looks better. Alright, so then what I'm going to do is take my other brush and load it with some green. Well, you know what? I'll do that in a minute. Let's hold that thought. I am going to put in some little, they're just kind of little flowers that'll have a mixture of all these pinks and the berry wine. And I just stick my brush on them, not really like doing a one stroke kind of load or whatnot to them, just sticking my brush into them. And then I'm going to just come over here and just do some basic pulls, just on the chisel edge, and then pulling down. I got it pretty loaded heavily because I want to have better coverage if at all possible. And you can put some white in here to do that with. Because again, the thicker your paint is applied, as long as it's not too thick, because you don't want it to bubble when you paint it, but you do want to get good coverage, the more durable it's going to be, you know, when it's handled. Not that this kind of a piece is going to be handled a whole lot. I could see this being more of a sit on the shelf or table kind of deal, but you just want to make sure that it has good coverage so that whatever use, however much handling it gets, that it is able to handle it. And definitely putting your paint on thicker will help. Alright, let's go up here and put one. And I like to just kind of load it and go back over it till I get it to the consistency that I want it to be. And I'm going to put some white, it's actually the off-white, in here. And they're really just kind of free. They're not real stiff flowers as far as that, just more freestyle. And it's just a pretty little design. Easy, meant to be easy. Everything I do is meant to really be easy because I want people to paint and get your creative side going. A lot of people feel like they're not creative, but you can. I think just about anybody can really be if they want to. Or they're not too hard on themselves. They're not too hard on themselves. There we go. This is just a fun little project. You know, just think, keeping these bottles out of the waste, turning them into something pretty. It's an awesome idea. Okay, I'm going to put those there. And I'm going to do another set down here, which means I probably won't be able to do as many leaves as I normally do, which is probably a good thing because I do like leaves. As many of you know, if you follow me. These are just real simple. Just pull towards the center. Very easy. I'm going to do one more. I like to do mine in odd numbers. That's how I like to paint, odd numbers. Alright, now I'm going to take this brush, put it into some flow medium, because I'm actually going to, in addition to having some green kind of branches and such, I am going to have some that are, just want to get it a little bit thinner, some that are coming out in different spots here. Guys, so this is where it gets a little tricky because I have so much going on that I may not be able to do this exactly the way I think I'm going to, but it's okay. I like to work in threes. I can pull some of it out of here if I want. I'm just going to go up here like that, and you'll see what I'm doing here in a minute. Like I said, it might be a limited space, but I'm going to just give you an idea of what I'm doing here. Now, on some of these, I'm going to just take my brush and just kind of do little pulls away from it. And then, let's see, where's another one that's thinner? Probably kind of wanted to spread them out a little bit. Well, that's not going to spread them out. Let's go up here then. Sorry, I'm off camera here. Now, something like this, when you're doing pulls, you can go back over them. And if you wanted to be a little bit thicker, a little bit more durable, or even with another color, because a lot of times when you add another color in, that kind of helps give it, see, I like doing that, it helps with the coverage. And you can make these a little bit longer if you want, or more. They don't have to be so precise as far as how often you're placing them. They can be a little looser if you want. If that makes sense. Alright, and then on this one, I'm going to take a little bit of the berry wine and the yellow ochre. Put this aside. I have so many yucky paintbrushes, but on these little ones, I'm just going to do just some real simple with the liner brush. Just some real simple, easy little, I guess, flowers. It's like a vine. And I'm just putting some a little bit of other, like more of the yellow ochre in it, just to give it where you can see it. I'm not doing it on all of them, and it doesn't have to be, you know, you don't have to do it on all of them, just kind of like that. If you don't, you know, if you don't color all of them exactly, sometimes that gives it a little bit more interest than if you're actually coloring them every leaf the same. If that makes sense. But you're basically just going like that and pulling it towards it. And you can go on to the little vine too if you feel like you need to. Let's make it quick and easy. Just cute little things. Cute little vines. And then on, I might want to put a little bit more on here. For these other little stems, sorry, I hate this pounding noise. On these other little stems, the ones I did over here, what you're going to do, and you could use a bigger stylus. I'm just going to use this one, but I'm just going to put a lot of dots on here. Just a lot of dots, and they don't have to necessarily be right on the stem or the petals. They can be just on the plain glass too, just to give it gives it a little bit of texture, and just, you know, a little bit of getting away from all green. Yeah, see, you know, just easy. Like I said, you could have rotated these and actually put this one on the other side, so that I didn't have both of these kind on the same side and then the other kind that I did on the other side. Except on my sample paper I spread them out. They were in different places, but again, limited space. You have to, you know, allow for that. That's going to happen. So just have to deal with it, right? Alright, so far we have all that going on. I think we're doing good. With this stylus, I'm going to use the other end, and then what I'm going to do is come back over here to the sunflowers, and I'm just going to add some dots to the center to what I would consider being more of the bottom part. Just kind of randomly. You can do one color. I am probably going to end up doing 3. If you don't want to do 3, that's fine. That's up to you. There's no law that says you have to do any certain amount. But I like doing it with the yellows. You could actually even throw some brown in there. But of course you're not going to see the brown real well on the center part, but you'll see it really well on the leaves. So again, that's up to you. For my part, I'm just doing it on the sunflower with the 3 colors, and the 3 colors are going to be the 2 yellows, the Bumblebee and the Moon Yellow, and then I'm going to do some warm white. Get a little tail off of there. I don't know why I have a little tail there. White, it just, you know, shows up a little bit more. We're going to come over here and do the same thing. Alright, not going to spend too much time on these dots because I'm sure you know how to do dots. Oops, I just dipped it in the wrong color. Dagnabbit. Not the greatest dots because I stuck it in the wrong thing, but alright. Enough of that nonsense. Okay, so then for these other flowers, these little pinkish flowers, I am going to dip just the brush handle, and this is of the number 12, and I'm going to make my centers. Like that. And then I want to, and I did this on my sample, so hopefully it works out here, who knows. But I'm going to come back in and I'm just going to put a little bit of the berry wine in here. They don't want to be perfect, not meant to be perfect. Just gives it a little bit of contrast, that's all. Alright, so then let's final this up. Finalize this cute little design up. I'm going to do my number 10, and I am using the lime green, the Thicket, and using a little bit of the moon yellow. Now you can go in if you want and pretend that you're doing little stems. Just for fun, pretend. Just kind of doing it like that. Now on these I can bring them down, and I'm just going to make it like they all kind of hang together. I'm not going to put a lot of effort into this. And then do the same thing with the sunflowers themselves. And I can be like, this is my stem coming down from here. If you don't, like, so whenever you get into a situation like this, if you do not want to have a stem, that's fine. You can just make it like it's just the flowers, the flower heads, and the leaves, basically. That's perfectly fine. Alright, so let's get started with a few leaves. Don't have a whole lot of room to put them on here, so I'm not going to have a lot, which you're probably happy about. I'm going to just kind of do a kind of a wiggly leaf. Come back in, go back out. It's not a real straight leaf. And then, let's see, I'm not going to have a whole lot of these because I don't have a whole lot of room. I think I'll put one up here. So I'm just basically doing my little angles down instead of up. And I'm just pushing down and just wiggling it back and forth because I don't want it to be real straight leaf. Okay, I'm coming in, coming out, and then just turning it. And then just going to put my little stem like that through it. And let's see here. If you want to do more, you can. Like I said, I've got this so full, I'm not going to do a whole lot of leaves. There's really no point to it. But what I will do, let me see which one I got the color on. I'm going to come back over here to the berry wine and the yellow ochre. I'm just making a mess. No, not really. Trying to make a mess. Okay, let's see what we can do here. I want to make just some different colored leaves, and these are just some basic leaves, but I am just basically mixing the two together, the berry wine, and you can throw in some brown too if you want. And then my brush is so full of paint. Dipping that a little bit, but it's kind of a neat mixture of all these, and it's different. You know, it's not the same. You can do longer leaves, and then just, you want to pull a stem in them, you can. If you don't want to, you don't have to. Just doing a little light brown, just so I'm afraid I'm going to get it in there too thick. And just kind of in different places put these, again, just to get some more interest in here. Like that. And maybe you can pull some down here. Just a different color. I'm going to end up gonna pull this down here a little bit, just gently getting into pulling the paint off, and I don't want to do that. Alright, let me do one more and then I'm going to be done. I think I'll pull it down here. Again, it's okay to pull down and paint over some of the other flowers. You just got to be careful not to lift the paint. That's the biggest thing. You don't want to rework it too much. Alright, I'm going to stop here. I think I got it all. I'm going to stop here. I think it's very pretty, very unique. So you have the sunflowers and just some fun little flowers intermixed, some different colored leaves, and it's pretty home decor piece, I think. Alright, I hope you liked this video. If you did, please make sure you give me a big thumbs up. New to my channel, please subscribe, hit that notification bell before leaving. And one other thing I'd like to ask you to do is share this on your social network with all your family and friends. I would certainly appreciate it. And thanks again. I appreciate you so much following me. Until the next time, stay safe and you have a good one.